The Drakensberg Mountains run more or less from north to south along the border between South Africa and Lesotho. And if you are crazy and fit enough, then you might be tempted to do something called the Drakensberg Grand Traverse, which is walking the entire length of the Drakensberg Mountains, either from north to south or from south to north. Relatively recently, I connected with a couple of people online who were also keen on doing the Drakensberg Grand Traverse, and during lockdown we obviously had quite a bit of time on our hands to actually plan this insane adventure. Eventually we ended up with three of us, myself and Christine and Barry, and Ralph was actually going to be our support person who would stay in a hotel near the Drakensberg and track our progress and come and fetch us at the end. So we're at Platberg self-catering accommodation in Harrismith, and tomorrow Ralph is going to drive us to the Sentinel car park and we're going to start our Grand Traverse. Don't make a montage with a cutscene now where it's like helicopters and...
No. Montage of beautiful vistas.
Beautiful vistas.
Yeah.
Okay. Montage of beautiful vistas now. Yeah, just move one thing at a time. How did you find it, Barry?
Oh, it was very nerve-wracking.
It was scary, right?
Definitely. I don't know if
I'd actually forgotten how scary this was. Thanks for carrying my backpack up the chain ladders, Ralph.
I'm alright,
You're a legend.
I'm so glad I'm here with you guys. The experience.
This is ultralight hiking right here. I've got the bag for the camera.
Why do you think my...
Ralph actually managed to accompany us all the way to the top of the amphitheater to say goodbye. And initially it was just so spectacular. We had fantastic weather, the views were amazing, and it was really exciting to just be doing this thing that we had spent so much time thinking about and planning for and training for. I was feeling fairly good up until after lunchtime. At some point during the afternoon, I was just sort of progressively getting slower and slower and more fatigued. And eventually, towards the end of the day, my chest started hurting quite a bit as well. Christine is my actual hero. She just took 4 kilograms out of my backpack. I feel like such a failure. I'm really struggling with the altitude for some reason. Like, I just can't get my breath. So this is where we're going to be camping for the night. It's only about 4:30, but we're stopping because of me, because my chest is quite sore. I was actually feeling so bad that I did discuss with Christine and Barry what I should actually do, because it was unusual for me to be feeling that bad on a backpacking trip. Eventually, the consensus was that we should just all sleep and see how I felt the next morning. And I took some relatively strong painkillers that night because my chest was kind of sore. And I did have a relatively okay night's sleep. It wasn't the best, but it was fine. And I woke up not feeling any worse in the morning. But pretty soon after we started hiking that morning, it was particularly when we were going uphill and gaining altitude, I started feeling progressively worse and worse and developed this really excruciating headache, and then eventually started throwing up the whole time as well, which was very difficult because I knew that I needed to stay hydrated. Eventually Christine stopped and I had a bit of a chat with her, and we decided that the best solution was for me to just go down. So we were able to pick a pass that I had done several times before, Rockery's Pass. It was really hard to give up on this trip so soon after we had started it, when we'd expended so much energy on organizing it and planning for it. But there wasn't really much else I could do. I do still wonder if we could have handled it any differently. In the end, I think we made the only real decision that we could have in that situation. Look who it is! It's Ralph.
It's windy.
It is very, very windy. I'm feeling very slightly better. My headache has gone from like unbearable to just dull aching. And we're just going to keep going down Rockery's Pass and hopefully make it out of here. Or otherwise we'll have to sleep like stacked in the one-person tent.
Just on there. It's fine. It's fine.
Ralph has just run that entire distance. I also do think that the hikes and the backpacking trips where things do not go according to plan and where you make mistakes and where things go wrong are actually the trips where you learn the most. I think those experiences teach you a lot more about where your own limits are. So I'm really looking forward to the next time that we tackle Drakensberg Grand Traverse. I think that the experience from this particular trip will definitely help to make future trips more likely to succeed. Christine amazingly finished the entire Grand Traverse, walking a huge chunk of it at the end completely solo and encountering absolutely insane wind. She luckily continued to have her spot with her so Ralph and I could track her progress and stay in communication with her. And wow, what an inspiration she is, really. She did something absolutely phenomenal, and it just makes me want to try even harder to get it done as well.